about 2 years of experience in Java. There I have used technology like Spring Boot, creating REST API was most of.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
We'll start with core Java first.
Okay.
Yes. Can you tell me why we should choose array or why we should choose array list? In which scenario you will go for array or in which scenario you will go for array list?
In case of um, array concerned, as we know that array is fixed in size, so that we cannot change the size we have given once assigned it. So it is not a better way of memory management. If we are assigning five size to the array, so that we have to insert five element in that array, or if we are inserting less element, remaining will remain empty. So in case array list, it is we know that array list is growable, so that there is no need to provide size in case of array list. And this is the main difference between array and array list.
Okay, so and if I extend this question, so why over array or array list you will choose linked list?
So as list is used mostly, duplicates are allowed and insertion order is preserved in list. So
Mm-hmm.
as far as array list and linked list is concerned, array list is used mostly for um, retrieve purpose, and linked list is used for insertion or deletion purpose.
Okay.
As compared to their implementation, mostly they used for insertion and deletion purpose. Linked list.
Okay. What is the use of constructor in Java? Why we need constructor?
Constructor is used for initialization of object,
Correct.
so that object get realized. That
Mm-hmm.
is the main purpose of constructor.
Okay. So have you used thread also, or do you have
No,
knowledge?
not I have not used thread, but I have idea about thread.
Okay. What is deadlock?
Um, deadlock is a scenario where the cycle is get created. That same thread is calling um,
Mm-hmm.
to the
Yep.
same thread.
Okay, you are correct in that. Okay, so it is a situation where two or more than two threads are involved, and one thread is holding a object which the other thread needs, and the similar situation with other threads that is holding a object which the first thread is needing, and
Yes, yes.
you can avoid deadlocks in your code also. Moving to some other things, do you have experience in Spring as well, Spring Boot, or in Spring
Yes, I have
MVC?
experience in Spring Boot. Spring Boot.
Okay, so in Spring Boot, do you know what is the use of application properties? Why we have
Yes,
application property file? Tell me.
yes. Mostly for dependency. Sorry, we that add in Pom.xml, but where we have to make a configuration. At that time, we used application.property file. Like we have to change a server, or override a default server. At that time, we used a server.port in application property. So
Mm-hmm.
that is the main use of that file.
Okay. Any other way of you implementing the configuration in Spring Boot application? Do you know about that?
With the help of XML file.
No, I mean we can use XML also, but
Hmm.
not we don't prefer using
Hmm.
XML in Spring Boot. So initially, before Spring
Right.
Boot, Spring was there. So in that configuration is done by XML. It can also done by annotations
Like,
as well. But the problem with annotation and XML, it is kind of hard coding the configuration in application.
right.
So we need to have a mechanism which where we can put the configuration if suppose our application is running and behind the scene we want to change the configuration, so with the help of application properties we can do that. So simply it is a file, from that our application will read those configurations which will be there as a key value pair. So there is one more mechanism apart from application property, which is YAML. So have you heard about YAML? No problem. Yeah, I am telling you that
Yes,
it
I
is,
have heard about YML.
yeah, yeah. So it is pronounced as
Yeah.
YAML, and it is also used in the place of application properties if you want to use that. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, like in Spring Boot applications, we use multiple application properties file. Like, have you heard about that? Have you seen that? We use application test properties, application unit test properties, application properties. I mean, we can customize it. So, have you seen that scenario?
Oh no, I have not
Okay, no problem.
used
So,
through this.
it is basically used for profiling. So what we can have multiple profiles of application properties. So there is multiple environment in which we have to work. So we deploy in production environment, but before that we can use development environment, or a testing environment to test our changes or to develop our changes. So what we will do
Okay.
when we are developing something, and we can give the configuration according to our environment. So for test environment we can have a different configuration, for dev environment we can have different configuration, and for prod environment as well we can have some different configuration. So those configuration are given by application properties, and we can have different application properties for each profile. So that is the thing, that's why
Okay.
we use different application properties in Spring Boot. Okay, so I
Yeah.
won't go in
Yeah.
the security because you have like 2 years of experience, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so most of the things will be asked as a for core Java itself. So we won't go in advanced Java or in any framework right now. We will stay in core Java, just to test your knowledge in core Java.
Okay.
Okay, so can you
Okay.
tell me,
Yes.
do you know what is garbage collection?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Tell me.
Can say that garbage collection is a process in which if variable is not holding any reference,
Mm-hmm.
at that time it will automatically go for a memory management.
Okay.
So it will goes to the garbage collection.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, correct. Okay, so can you garbage collect any object at any point of time? Can you force it? I mean, you have object which
No,
is,
forcefully we cannot do that.
yes, that is correct.
Forcefully we cannot do that.
Mm-hmm. Have you heard about finalize method? It is in terms of
Yes,
garbage
yes.
collection.
Yes, finalize method is only used for a cleanup activity,
Hmm.
like, but we cannot do forcefully.
Okay.
Like it is mostly used for a garbage collection only.
Hmm.
Yes,
Okay.
for cleanup activity, finalize method is used.
Yeah, correct. Okay, so what is string literals?
uh, in two way we can create a string, as a stringers are immutable. So
Hmm.
with the help of string literal we can create, and with the help of new keyword we can create strings. So
Okay.
for string creation literals are used.
Okay. You told me that string are immutable. What do you mean by that?
Right. Immutable is a functionality we can say where we cannot reassign that particular object. Once we assign a value to that object, we cannot change that object.
Yeah, correct. So, and what is the concept behind it? Have you heard about string literal pool?
Yes, string constant pool I have heard.
Yeah, constant pool.
Mostly, yes, mostly when strings are created with the help of strings literal, it is stored in a string constant pool, and when it is created with the help of new keyword, at that time it will create in heap memory as well as in string constant pool, but the content is checked whether it is already present or not. If it is not present, then
Hmm.
then only new object is created.
Okay, so if I say string str1 is equal to Java, and then again string
Okay.
str2 is equal to Java, and then I write string str3 is equal to new string, and in bracket I will say Java, and in fourth line I will write string str4 is equal to new string, in bracket I will give Java. Okay, as a
Okay.
parameter.
Okay.
So how many objects are created here?
Okay, like first two string are literals and holding a content Java, and
Hmm.
second we have two we have created with the help of new keyword,
Hmm.
which is having a same content Java.
Hmm.
At that time, three object will be created. In that case, first of all, first two literals are when created in a string constant pool, it is checked that whether it is already present or not,
Hmm.
because string 1 str1 is already holding Java. So again it will not created in string constant pool, but when we are creating with the help of new keyword, it will create in heap memory. So two in a heap memory and one in a string constant pool.
Okay. Yeah, that is correct. Okay, so if I write sys out println, and then I will write 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus welcome. So what will be the output?
1 plus 2 plus what you have written.
1 plus 2 plus 3 plus, in double quotes, welcome, plus 5. I am adding that. So what will be the output?
It will 6 welcome 5
And initial
will be the
one.
output.
Okay, so
Initial part will be treated as an integer, and after welcome it is treated as a string.
yeah, so if I say 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus welcome plus 5 plus 6, so in that scenario what it will print?
It will print welcome 5 plus 6.
Okay, so but plus won't be printed, right?
Yes, plus won't be printed.
So it will initial, before welcome it will add everything, and then 1 plus 2 plus 3 will be 6, 6 welcome, 5 6.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. uh, so coming to, like, in string there is one more class called StringBuffer, and in fact there is string builder as well.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so which is more efficient in order of processing the operation?
Okay, as we know that string buffer is synchronized.
Hmm.
That is, it is thread safe.
Hmm.
So it will take time.
Correct.
And as far as string builder is concerned, it is not thread safe. So execution will be faster as the methods are not synchronized.
Sorry, string builder is thread safe,
Uh,
or string buffer is thread safe?
String buffer is thread safe.
So only one thread can work on that.
Get executed at one time. Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Uh,
So string buffer will be less efficient.
okay.
Yes.
Coming to some other things, like exceptions. Yeah. In exceptions,
Yes.
what are the checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions?
Okay. Checked exception are the exception which are checked at a compile time. For example, file not found exception is there, so that at runtime it might be find or not, the location will find or not, it will the error will given by compiler at compile time only, that please handle this exception while writing the code, otherwise code or output may get affected. uh,
Hmm.
in that case we can call it as a check exception, and the exception which are not checked at a compile time, that we called as a runtime exception, which
Hmm.
occur at a runtime, like arithmetic exception is there, which may occur with the because of user input, so that we can call as an unchecked exception,
Okay.
like index out of bond. It is also a runtime exception.
Mm-hmm. And what is the way to like handle the exceptions in Java?
In two way we can handle exception, with the help of try catch block, that writing risky code in a try block, um, and writing or writing exception in a catch block, and with the help of throw keyword, where we can write our customized exception, like user does not found exception or password invalid exception which
Mm-hmm.
we want to give. um, that is called as customized exception, which we can give as a return type of that method, um, and throwing it with the help of throw keyword to the method signature.
Okay. But what is the use of throw keyword? If you are throwing exception.
Okay, so for example, if a caller method, as we know that in Spring Boot there are different layer. So, for example, if we can say that the method in repository is throwing a exception that user does not found, at that time it will throw to the caller method, so that it will handle with the help of drag catch block in a controller side.
Okay. Okay. Uh, so have you heard about comparable and comparator?
Yes, yes.
So what is the use of that?
Mostly comparable and comparator are used for sorting purpose.
Hmm.
So comparable is used for single sorting, and comparator is used for the multiple sorting with the help of compare method, and comparable to single sorting with the help of compare to method.
What is single sorting and multiple sorting?
We can say that if we want to sort object
Mm-hmm.
with the help of different parameter, like in employee object it is holding id, employee name, employee salary. At the base of that parameter we can sort,
Hmm.
uh, which is called as multiple sorting.
Hmm. So you can sort with the multiple parameters by
Yes,
comparator, and with the
yes,
help of comparator you can sort with a single parameter.
yes, yes,
Okay. So if you want to sort by roll number and name both, then you will use comparator. Okay.
yes, right.
Okay. So any other use, I mean any other scenario where you will go for comparator rather than comparable?
I'm not sure.
Okay. So you go for comparator when you want to pass the comparison logic.
Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm. Uh, just a minute. What have you heard about Singleton class?
Yes, yes.
So what is singleton?
Singleton, cl- yes, singleton class is a class of which only one object get created.
Hmm.
At that time, we can say that the class is singleton class.
Okay. And
Yes.
what is
We
the
can, uh, yes,
what is the way to create a class singleton?
we can create by declaring constructor as a private and by um, yes, it by declaring constructor private we can create singleton class.
Just by defining constructor as a private, will it the class will be singleton, or you need to do something else as well? Or and why you want to declare constructor private? What is the reason behind that?
So that it will return the same object, where we can write a logic where it will return only one object, so that next
No.
time it we cannot create another object with the help of new keyword.
Yeah, this time you are correct. It won't
Yeah.
return the same object by just declaring the constructor private. But yeah, by declaring constructor private, you can make sure that you are not allowing anyone to create a new object by new keyword.
To create a new object.
And
Yes.
uh, what you can do, you can have a static method, then and whoever wants the object of that particular class will call that method, the static method, and then in that static method you can give the object back and the same object. So you will check in the static method, you will check if the object is already created or not. If it is created, then you will return the same object, and if it is not created, then you will create a new object in that method only and once.
Okay.
Okay. uh,
Yes.
so that is like it is a design pattern as well. Have you used Java 8?
Yes. Yes. I have used Java.
Okay.
Means, uh,
So what is the use of lambda?
um, Lambda, we can say that where we can write anonymous method or a particular mm, set of operation where we no need to write a method explicitly for it. By use with the help of lambda expression we
Hmm.
can write our logic in anonymous method, you can say.
Okay.
Yes.
And what is optional class? Have you heard about it?
uh, I have heard about it but I have not used.
Okay. What can be use of a optional class?
No, I have no idea. I think mostly it is used for a return type. But apart from that, I have not
Yeah.
gone through it.
Okay. Okay. No problem. It is used to avoid the uh, null pointer exception basically.
Okay. Okay.
So in like in a scenario where a object can be null, and there is possibility you
Okay.
can get the null pointer exception. So what you will do, you will use the optional class object or optional class method. So these methods, the example, for example, empty is a method in optional class, is present is a method in object class, sorry, optional class. So by the help of these methods, what you
Okay.
will do, you will these method will check if the object is present or not. If the value is null, then if suppose if you using is present method, it will return true if there is a value available, otherwise it will return false.
Okay. Okay.
So your application won't throw null pointer exceptions, and you can use optional class in that scenario. Okay, so do
Okay.
you have
Okay.
any experience working with databases?
Yes. Yes. I have used MySQL database.
Mm-hmm. MySQL, okay.
Yes. Yes.
And so in MySQL, how do you connect your application with database? Do have you seen where exactly in your project it is connecting with the database?
Mostly, I have used JDBC and JPA.
Hmm.
Mostly, in case of JPA, when we are using Spring Boot, we write or add a dependency or in a pom.xml,
Hmm.
where we write a configuration which will connect with the database with the help of username, password, and driver. And as far as JDBC is concerned, there are number of steps, like five number of steps. With the help of that, we can connect with the database by loading the registering driver. After that, loading driver, passing the query for execution. After that, we have to execute it, and if it is returning something, we can store it in a result set, and by closing the connection,
Hmm.
we can establish connection with the database.
Okay, so what is pom.xml?
Pom.xml is a file
Mm-hmm.
where we can write a dependency which we are needed in a project, so that there is no need to create or a bin creation is there mostly in adding dependency is the main work of pom.xml.
Okay. Okay, so dependencies will be if you give the dependency to the pom.xml, it will download it either from the internet or store it for the further
Yes,
use.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so in your environment, what are the tools have you using any tools to share the code and commit your code to the repository like GitLab, GitHub,
Mostly
Bitbucket?
GitHub, GitHub.
Okay, you are using GitHub.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so how can you you have your you have a task, okay, and in
Okay.
that task you know that in which application you want to change. So how do you proceed with that? Uh, take how do you take the code from the remote to your local machine? What are the steps you will follow?
Mostly, if I am starting new and having a project over Git, at
Mm-hmm.
that time I will first create a folder in my local machine,
Mm-hmm.
and after that, by taking a clone,
Mm-hmm.
by taking clone a link, we can say, I can write a command like git clone, where
Mm-hmm.
I can paste that link, and after that I can take code of a remote repository to my local repository
Okay, yes, you are
by
correct.
cloning.
Yeah, you are correct. Okay, okay, so I think time. It was nice talking to you actually.